Hi, welcome back to PA Tech Talk. In this episode we're going to look into the STM32H573IDK and also with the TouchGfx. So I will make a small project with the TouchGfx and make this project as you can see here. It's a basic program where we have two buttons where one is LED on and one is LED off, and where we actually then also turn on the small green LED in the very top there. So if you think this sounds interesting, please tag along. Here we have the TouchGfx Designer version 4.22.1, which is the current version and the latest release that is available for now. If you haven't installed it yet, you can take a look in the end of this video, because there I have a link to how to install the TouchGfx Designer. But here we can see that we have two boards that I have been working with, and this one is the STM32H573IDK with running on internal flash, and it's running with the FreeRTOS operating system. And its resolution on the display, on the LCD display, is 240 by 240 pixels. So we will be running on this one. We click on this and we go down here in the right corner and we give it a name. And we call it just Lab 1 and we create it. And now we also have the development boards in scope here. And this is the board that we are been working with. I'm just zooming in on the display, and also so that we can see the LEDs up here. And we'll be working with the LD1. So when it looks like this, this is the canvas for the display, and it's squared, so this means transparent. There is nothing. So we need to start with something, and I start normally with a box and just give it the background color. So this color is white, and I would like to give it something that looks better, so I just pick a color there. If we take a look here, we have our project files, and we have now the screen 1, and I think that the screen 1 is not a good name, so I rename it Start Screen. And then we have also the box. This is the box, as I rename it Background. So now we have the start screen and we have the background. The aim for this application is to put two buttons on this display, and one should turn on an LED and one should turn off an LED. So we start with the button, and we go with the button with the label. Now we have a button here, and it says there button with label. We will change this, and we go for the presets and find a suitable button for us. The display is 240 by 240 pixels, so take that in mind, because here you have the pixel size for the icons, and I'm using this one. We can just positioning it there, and I would like to have the colors on the to be black instead of white. I think it's more visible, and I changed the new text to LED on. So now I've changed the color and the text, and I now still have this button with label 1. It doesn't say too much, so I will rename that button. So now I have renamed it to button LED on. Now we need to have another button that do the opposite, that turns off. So we go with this one again, and we have the same size. So we have it there, and we're positioning it, and we can give it the name LED off. We can change also the colors to this text to black, And we rename this one as well. So now we have made a display here with two buttons. One start screen, one background, two buttons, one LED on and one LED off. What we can do if we look down here in the right corner, we have three buttons. This one says run target. When I hover over it, it's out on the outside of the screen, I can see now. But if I run this one and I have my board connected to the same PC, it will start compiling the software and it will push the firmware to the flash, and we will see what's happening on the display. So it displays the same thing, and it looks better in real life than this camera have the ability to bring in. We also have the other button, and it says run simulator. So if I click on that one, I will get up a simulator window here somewhere. So where we can hit the, now let's see if I change that to this side instead, otherwise I will hide it. So if I click here, I can see that the button is working, but it doesn't do anything. And the same thing is on the real display. If now my fingers is so big, so it goes over the total, but nothing happens when I do it, when I hit the buttons, and that is fine. So to be doing something on it, we need to verify or tell it what it should be doing. So when we hit the LED on, we go up here on the right corner, it says interaction. So we click on that one and we hit plus sign. And now we get an interaction 1. It doesn't say too much, so we said LED button pressed. So we call it LED button pressed. And what should this one do? So it asks for trigger. So I say when a button it's clicked. So when someone click on this button and they say which button? The LED on button. Okay. So what should it do when someone hits that button? Now it comes to the magic sauce here. It says call new virtual function. And the virtual function is call in the STM32Cube IDE, where we had some callbacks to that one. So now we need to give the callback function a name. So we call it LED on. And now we need to do the same for the LED off button. So we LED button off. And for the trigger there is the same when a button is clicked. And which button? The off button. Okay, what should it do? We should call a new virtual function. Okay, what is the function called? We call it LED off. Great, so we can put that also to the display, and it reflashes it, but again there won't be happening anything. So now the virtual functions or the interactions are done. We need to now then create the program. So this button here is the final one. It says generate code, so we hit that one and it generates the code for us. What we now then can do is open the file structure with this icon down here in the left. Then we get up the project where we have this TouchGfx Lab 1. So we go down to Lab 1. Here we can find the IOC file for the STM32Cube.mx. So we double click on that one to launch STM32Cube.mx. now we need to turn on the LEDs, and the LEDs, we said that there are a couple of them up here, named LED 1, 2, 3 and 4, and if we look in the manual, I have seen that it's IP A9, so there we have PI9. So if we click on that one, and we see it's a GPIO output, and we can go under GPIOs here. Then we see PI9, and we can give that a name. We can name that one LD1, and we can also put I think it should be high from the very beginning. It could be that this is wrong, but we give it level high because I think that the high is turned off. And we can start with this one. If we want to have the other ones, we can also add them here. But that is what we have done so far. The rest of the project is already done for us in TouchGfx, so we can generate the code. So it says the code is successfully generated, and open project. Now it says successfully imported the project STM32H573IDK into the workspace, as we can see here. And I'm not sure why it names it this project since I put lab 1 in the TouchGfx, but this is, I'm not sure why it happens like that. I haven't got any answer to it. But here we have the project. So here we have the project in Cube, STM32 Cube IDE. And if we open the application folder, and under user we have the generated code, and we also have the GUI. That two folders are the one that TouchGfx has created for us. And the generated folder, that is a folder where you shouldn't make any changes to, because they will be overwritten immediately. But we can take a look in it, and if we take a look in this start screen view base, because the screen that we created, we call that one start screen. So if we open this one, it says here, this file is generated by TouchGfx Designer, do not modify. So here we have the functions that we said, button LED on and button LED off. And they are then set an action to the button callback, and the button callbacks is then the LED on and LED off. So we need to create this one in our project. So we just copy so we remember what we should have there. So we can close that one, and we can close that folder because we shouldn't write anything in it. But what we should write is in the start screen view CPP. So we open that one. So this one is open for us. And here I already have included the main.h. So that is normally not there from the very beginning. So you need to include that as well. And we also need to then open the header file for this one. So here we can now include the virtual void and LED on. We start with the LED on and we save. And then we go back to the screen, and here is where we should then write our code for the virtual on then. So we can take this code and we can then just modify it. So LED on, and what should we do then? We should do hell hell underscore GPIO right pin and which pin it was. It was port I think, and it was pin it was 9, and we should have the reset because we put it high when we initialize the port. GPIO pin reset. Great. So now we try to compile this and see what errors we did. Hopefully not too much. We did a lot of errors. Now I see what I did wrong. Virtual, not... So, yeah. The devil hides in the details. Now we try to do it again. This looks much better. Great, so now we try to run the code, and we can then bring our display up again. Waiting for debugger, and it now tries to reprogram it, and it changes the perspective to debugger. And now we can put resume. So now we have our display again. And hopefully, if everything works now, we should have an LED 1 up here when I push this button. Yay, success. But it shouldn't happen anything else if I press more times, or even if I press the LED off, because I haven't done that code yet. Great, so far so good. We terminate this one and go back to the start screen again. We can close the main, and we can close that one as well. And now we need to also define the virtual. This time it was right here. Void LED off. That looks great. We save that one, and we go back to this one, and we copy this file or this routine, and we make off, and we just put set instead. Nothing wrong what I can see. We try to build it again. I really like when it says 0 errors. Great, so we will run the code. And something happened on the display because it was turned off. And now it's ready for us to hit the resume button again. And now we have both the LED on and the LED off. And if I now put LED on, it's turned on, and if hey, it works. So this was the first session, the very start, where we can look on how we can get some functions into the TouchGfx actually to do something in the code. So if you thought this was fun and you learned something, and also if you let me know if you actually got your LED to start working as well. You don't need this board to do this. You can do it on any STM32 board that has a display on it. Let me know in the comments if you succeeded or not. It's very interesting to hear, and what you would like to see in the next videos. So if you learned something, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not yet a subscriber, please consider to do so. It's really appreciated. I'm trying to grow the channel to at least 1,000 subscribers, and it's a tough challenge. But so until next time I see you, stay safe.